I kind of like the Edey pick. Maybe I'm the odd man out here. Let me know your thoughts on that down below in the comment section. Scrolling on down here until we got another notable pick. Oh, at 16, we got the Fruit Loop. My brother in Christ, if you don't know who Dalton Knecht is, you just don't know basketball. This is the definition of a high-risk, high-reward type of player and type of pick. He could be really, really good, or he could also be really, really bad. You have no idea how this could turn out. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, come on, man. Don't act brand new around here. You know what we're about to talk about. We make this video every single year where we recap the first round of the NBA draft. We got a lot to talk about. The premise of this video is relatively simple. I don't got time to waste. You don't got time to waste either. I say we get straight into it. Like many others out there, I really look forward to and I enjoy the NBA draft every single season. There's just something cool about it. And if you're watching this video, don't lie. We all had those hoop dreams of maybe one day eventually making it to the NBA and hearing our name called on draft night. That's something you dream of as a kid, but as you start to get older in life, it humbles you quickly. You start to come to terms with reality. Dang, the chance of me actually making it to the NBA are slim to none. I say that to say this. There's something really cool about seeing all these young men's hard work pay off. It's awesome, it really is, so congratulations to all the players that got drafted last night. With that being said though, if you don't know how we like to do these videos, we're going to start off with pick number 1 and work our way down. Oh yeah, too, my apologies. Let me give you some context and perspective on your boy Matt's NBA knowledge before we even go any farther. I would label myself as a casual NBA basketball fan. I watch a couple regular season games or big regular season games throughout the season, but when it comes to the playoffs, no, I don't miss a game. I watch every single one. But since I'm just I guess you'd call it a playoff watcher and I don't watch the regular season, yeah, I'll label myself as a casual. I have no problem saying that whatsoever. I'm just telling you how it is. You may be sitting here thinking to yourself, well, Matt, what makes you qualified to even be talking about the NBA in the first place if you yourself are saying you're a casual? Hey my friend, that is a great question, but I have an even better answer. Although yeah, I don't watch a ton of NBA basketball, I'd argue and say I watch more college basketball than anybody else on this planet. This is mainly a college football channel and I love college football, but I love college basketball just as much. And why we do this video every year is because we're not actually talking about the NBA teams themselves. We're talking about the players, the prospects. And where do these prospects come from? You see where I'm going with this. College. And I'm not a casual when it comes to college basketball. Normally, heading into these drafts every single year, I know everybody's name, I know their game, and I know a lot about them. However, when I was watching the draft last night, I was questioning myself. I was like, man, did I not keep up with this enough in the offseason, or am I just not informed? Because I don't know half of these dudes. And I'm not going to blame the media because at the end of the day, it's my fault. If I wanted to really do some extent research and be the most knowledgeable person when it comes to evaluating these NBA prospects, I could have done so. I chose not to. But good gosh almighty, there were guys selected in the first round that I didn't hear a lick about the past couple of months. Maybe that's just me. Hopefully I'm not the only one, so let me know in the comment section if you can relate. Now, with all that being said, I'll give you some context, some perspective. Let's get into pick number 1. Not gonna hold you. Never heard this guy. Zachary Rishashire, something like that. If I'm saying these guys' names wrong, I do apologize. A man's name is very important, but a lot of these French players, their names are hard to pronounce. Don't know anything about this guy, didn't even know he was a real person until last night, so therefore, I'm not qualified to talk about him. The only controversial thing I heard about this is Alex Sarr, the number 2 pick who went to the Wizards, who I have heard of. He refused to even work out for the Hawks, so it shouldn't have shocked anybody that they didn't select him. Speaking of Alex Sarr, let's talk about him, another Frenchman. He goes to the Wizards. I don't think anybody's mad at that pick, but yet again, it's a guy that not too many people are familiar with. Pick number 3, and this is where I have a little story for you guys. We got Reed Sheppard. What about that? The white boy out of Kentucky. I'll be the first to tell you, I stated this when we were making videos on Kentucky all of last year. I'm not high on Reed Sheppard like everyone else is. Don't get that confused because a lot of people are going to hear, oh, I'm not as high on him as others and I think he's some bad basketball player, but that's not the case. I love Reed Sheppard's game. I love him as a person. Great guy. You're not going to have any off-the-court problems. Plays the game the right way. He is what you want, at least personality-wise, in a prospecting player. You're not going to have to worry about him off the court, on the court, nothing like that. He's going to do everything you want him to do and more. As far as he goes for his gameplay, he is arguably the best shooter in this draft. I believe without even checking, he shot, what was it, 52% from the three-point line last year in college. That's insane. I watched every single Kentucky basketball game last year outside of 1 to 2 of those early ones they don't show on TV, so I'm very familiar with Reed's game. If you don't know a lot about him and you haven't seen him play, the one thing that will shock you in the NBA is how good he is at defense and how unreal his hands are. I have never in my life of covering this game of basketball seen a player with as good as hands as Reed Sheppard on the defensive side of the floor. I think saying he has an act for stealing the basketball would be heavily understating it. It's almost like a dang skill set at this point. This guy's a stealing machine, and it's so weird, and it's why I thought he was the most intriguing prospect heading into the draft, because you look at him and he looks like some dude that's about to give you some finance bro speech, or he's taking Algebra 1 class or something like that. He's not a very intimidating guy when you look at him. He's only about roughly, on a good day, 6'2", 180 pounds. Not super lanky. When it comes to his size, nothing at all stands out. But at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, Reed Sheppard here is unequivocally the definition of a purebred hooper. He's so instinctively smart. He shoots lights out. Great defender. He's everything you want. It's funny because normally when you talk about white players, you say, oh, well, their shooting abilities make up for their lack of athleticism. But with Reed Sheppard, that's not the case. He's one of the most athletic players in the draft. He has a 42-inch vertical. He's special, really special. The one major concern I do have with him, and it's why I'm not so high on him, is he's not the greatest shot creator I've ever seen. And maybe that's not going to matter in the NBA, but at Kentucky, he wasn't a guy that could consistently go one-on-one and win his matchup. He could do it every now and then, but he wasn't like for example, his teammate Rob Dillingham, who won his one-on-one matchup every single time. And I get it, I'm nitpicking here, but the bright side about all that is, everything he's not great at, Sheppard, he's going to get better at. Let me show you this story, though, about Sheppard, and this was years and years, I'm talking about years ago. This video somewhere on the channel, me and my brother, we wound up going to Birmingham to watch this huge AAU tournament where all these big-time teams were coming to, and Mikey Williams' team. They showed up, we vlogged it for the channel, it was a good time. While the tournament was going on, of course, like anybody else, we got hungry, so we got some pizza. While the tournament was going on, like anybody else, I got hungry, so I wanted to get some pizza. By the way, I remember to this day, they charged me $9 for a slice of pizza, and it wasn't even mid. It was like a 3 out of 10, but don't even get me started on that. Anyways, getting back on track here, after I pay for this pizza, we're like, all right, let's find somewhere where we can sit down and eat it. The gym's fully packed, but we noticed there's this game going on in the right corner because they had like 8 different courts, all types of different games going on. But in the right corner, there was some seating by this court where you had a couple teams playing and nobody was watching them. So we was like, oh yeah, we'll just sit over there and eat our pizza and then go back to watching some of the really good teams play. Well, we sit down and I notice across from us on the other side of the court, there's like 15 to 20 college head coaches. I'm talking about Arkansas's head coach, Baylor's head coach. Oh yeah, Bill Self was there, Kansas head coach, and so on, so on. Bunch of head coaches. And I'm like, wait, what? Why are all these head coaches watching this game? Reminder, there was no fans watching it at all. Because I'm watching this team play on the floor, and it's a bunch of white guys. You know what this team was called? The Midwest Elite. And I'm 99% sure on this, if I remember correctly. That was Gabe Cupps' dad's team where he was the coach, and also Gabe Cupps was on that team, and guess who? Reed Sheppard. It was a team full of white boys, and they was beating the crap out of the other team. We watched the entire game, saw Reed play the entire game, and you didn't leave the gym or leave that game thinking, oh yeah, Reed Sheppard's some phenomenal talent. No, he just played the game the right way. He didn't do anything special, but he did all the ordinarily things great. Did I say ordinarily things? I meant to say ordinary things great, but you get what I'm trying to say. Looking back on it, yeah, I understand why those college coaches were always watching Reed Sheppard's games. They want a guy like that. They don't want a flashy guy. They don't care to have a guy that's going to throw down 20 dunks a game. They want an efficient basketball player, and that's what Sheppard is. Crazy when you think about it. You had all these fans flocking to Mikey Williams' court on number 3, but you could have went to court number 8 and saw the number 3 player in the NBA draft play. Moving along here, though, at number 4, the Spurs take Castle out of UConn. Really good point guard, not too much to say there. Here's another guy I don't know too much about. Ron Holland II out of the G League Ignite. Another player from France went to the Hornets at 6. At 7, we got Donovan Clingan out of UConn. Pretty good pickup. I always liked Clingan at UConn. He was a dominant force. The only thing that might hold him back is his non-ability to shoot the three ball. He'll probably need to work on that a little bit, and also he's not really this offensive monster. He's more of just like a rebounder and defensive guy. At number 8, though, we got the shiftiest player in this NBA draft. Whew, this man was a pleasure to watch at Kentucky this most recent season. We got Rob Dillingham. He did wind up getting traded, though, but we're not really here to talk about what team he goes to. He got selected at number 8, and I think that's a great pick. He's the definition of hard to guard, and that's what you're looking for at the NBA. A guy who can create space, create his own shot, and create for others. Rob Dillingham, he checks off all those boxes. You saw it last year. When you watched Dillingham play, he was playing like he was in the NBA. He's a one-on-one basketball player. I also believe he's an underrated passer. He is on the skinnier side. He needs to bulk up. I'm sure he'll do that. And on the defensive side of the floor, kind of a liability. Gonna be interesting to see how he fares on the defensive side of the floor, because Reed Sheppard, I don't think he'll be a liability, because he's just kind of small. But no. Dillingham is really small. We'll see what happens there. Number 9, we got the man, the myth, the legend himself, Yao Ming. I saw a lot of people on Twitter upset at this, saying, oh my gosh, I can't believe Zach Edey went in the lottery. Like, this is blasphemous. This is stupid. But to tell you the truth, I'm not the biggest Zach Edey fan in the world. I could care less about the guy. I'm even keel, wishing him the best of luck. I don't see why people are knocking the pick. The man is 7'4". Some people say he's 7'5". That's never going to be a bad pick. And I get why people don't like him. I didn't like watching him in college play. It was almost like he had an unfair advantage. But I'm telling you, man, that guy is going to help out an NBA team whether you like it or not. I haven't seen anything quite like it, at least in my lifetime. A big man that's that large, 7'4", 7'5", who knows how to use his body extremely well. To be that tall and to be that wide, like he's not some skinny nerd, he possesses some serious ball skills. And to go on top of that, he's a really solid free throw shooter. Not the best, but good enough to the point where you can't just hack him. I don't really understand the whole hoopla around the Edey pick. I really don't, because bro's 7'5". He's going to get you some boards. He can change the game entirely on the defense side of the floor. And every now and then, if you need a bucket late in the shot clock, you can throw in the ball in the post and he'll do a hook shot or he'll score it. I say a hook shot. I don't mean actually a hook shot. I'm kind of exaggerating. You get what I'm saying. He'll go over that left shoulder, throw it in, something light. I kind of like the Edey pick. Maybe I'm the odd man out here. Let me know your thoughts on that down below in the comment section. Scrolling on down here until we got another notable pick. Oh, at 16, we got the Fruit Loop. Obviously, it goes without being said, as do I, Mr. Jared McCain. Here's a big topic of discussion. He's pretty big on social media. I'm not going to talk about what he posts on social media because it's his life. He can do what he wants, and I could care less. If you want to post cringy videos and paint your fingernails like a Fruit Loop, doesn't bother me. Be a Fruit Loop, brother. All power to you. I don't worry about the next man's grass. I worry about mowing my own grass. Anyways, let's get back on track here with the basketball talk. Outside of Sheppard, McCain was also one of the most intriguing prospects heading into this draft for me. Outside of shooting, Jared McCain isn't great at anything. He's good at a lot of things, but like I said, outside of shooting, just good at a bunch of stuff. And that's why I tell my young kids today, the biggest thing you need to learn how to do in the game of basketball, and it's going to take you so far, is the ability to shoot. My AAU coach told me this growing up, and I still think it holds true. There's always going to be a room for a shooter on the court. If you can learn to shoot that thing, it's going to take you far, and I can guarantee you this, if Jared McCain was some 30% three-point shooter, he wouldn't even get drafted. With that being said, although he's not great at anything else, his hard work ethic, it makes up for it. I love how competitive he is. He's always playing like he's got something to prove. When he's hot, we saw it at Duke. That man's hot, and he's not scared to let that thing fly. But the one thing that sticks out the most to me is he's just a hooper. He knows how to use his body extremely well, and he kind of was bullying some people last year. He's not scared to put his elbow in you and drive to the goal. I'd probably say he's one of the smarter players in this draft just due to the fact he knows where his spots are on the court and he knows how to get to them, and that's the difference maker. You see, a lot of players know their favorite spots, whether that's the corner, the wing, the elbow, etc., but McCain, he knows how to get there and knows how to get there efficiently and make it count. Such a great shooter, like I've said multiple times by now, and he's also a great teammate, and I think that's a recipe for success in the NBA. At 17, this was the one everybody was watching because, well, you know why. I'm not even going to say it. If you know, you know. The Lakers, they didn't take who many was hoping they'd take, but they took Dalton Knecht out of Tennessee. This is where your casuals were getting exposed last night because I saw hundreds of people tweeting out talking about, what? Who is this guy? I ain't never heard of no Dalton Knecht. My brother in Christ, if you don't know who Dalton Knecht is, you just don't know basketball. If you were to go to Google and type in what's the definition of a scorer, I guarantee you a picture of Dalton Knecht would pop up. I haven't seen a player do what he's done at the college level in a very long time. If you didn't see him play last year, you missed out. That guy had coaches, no lie, literally losing sleep. They were triple teaming him at some points. There was one game, I can't remember who it was. I think it might have been Auburn. I could be mistaken on that, but it's besides the point. Anyways, when he was crossing half court every single time, they immediately double teamed him. Therefore, Tennessee was playing the rest of the half court offense 4-on-3. Do you know how good you got to be at the college level? Not high school, because every now and then you'll have somebody get double teamed in high school. But do you know how good you got to be at the college level to get double teamed for almost an entire half of the game? This guy can score the ball. That's all that needs to be said. Will it translate over to the NBA? Well, I'll tell you this much. I don't see why it wouldn't. Last time I checked, it doesn't matter if you're playing in high school, college, or the NBA. The goal's still 10 foot. He will be teaming up with old Bron and AD, so we know that's going to be interesting. Going on down here, oh yeah, this was probably the most questionable pick of the NBA draft. Or not probably, no, it was the most questionable pick. At 23, the Bucks took A.J. Johnson. Granted, this is a very young guy, but this is still crazy to even look at. He's 6'4", 167 pounds. Yeah, so that's kind of crazy. He also last year only averaged 2.9 points per game. I'm going to say that again. A guy who got selected in the first round of the NBA draft averaged 2.9 points per game. Granted, he was playing in the overseas league, so I guess you could give him a pass there. Shot 36% from the field, rounding up, and 28% from the three-point line. This is the definition of a high-risk, high-reward type of player and type of pick. He could be really, really good, or he could also be really, really bad. You have no idea how this could turn out. Whereas with Jared McCain, we'll just use him since we talked about him earlier, his floor in the NBA is maybe 6th or 7th, man. He's never going to be really, really bad. With this dude, there's a chance if I were to tell you, oh yeah, he's out of the league in 3 years, you'd believe it. He's a raw prospect that hasn't really proved anything, and there's just a lot of question marks. They are drafting this guy off of pure potential alone. Hope it works out for him, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. At 27, I really like watching this guy in college, Terrence Shannon Jr. out of Illinois. I like Shannon Jr. He's a really tall guard that can shoot it, he can drive, he can pass, do a little bit of everything. I think he fits the modern era of the NBA. At 29, you got the USC point guard Isaiah Collier. A lot of people thought he might go higher. And last but not least, at number 30, you got the lefty out of Creighton, Baylor Scheierman. Not too much to say about old Scheierman here. We know what he's about. He's a tall white dude that can shoot the ball, period, the end. This video has already been extremely long. There's many more things I could say, but I do want to get it uploaded before round 2. So I'm curious. Let me know your thoughts. Anything we talk about down below. But